27 professional fights, 27 victories, 27 knockouts. No boxer in modern history has ever dominated like Edwin Valero. His left hand was a precision weapon that ended careers in seconds. His power so devastating that world champions refused to spar with him. But the same hands that made him unstoppable inside the ring would ultimately destroy everything he built outside of it. Edwin Valero was born into poverty in Venezuela, 1981. At 7, his father abandoned the family. By 12, Edwin was homeless, sleeping in doorways, selling fruit at bus stations just to survive. A bicycle shop owner who happened to be a former boxer took pity on the street kid and let Edwin live in his gym for 8 years. But Edwin was living a double life, training as an amateur champion by day, running with armed robbery gangs by night. 3 national amateur championships later, Edwin was headed for the Olympics. Then everything changed. Riding his motorcycle without a helmet in 2000, Edwin collided with a car. The head trauma was so severe, doctors implanted a metal plate in his skull and told him he could never fight again. But the accident did more than threaten his boxing career. It fundamentally altered Edwin's personality. The sweet kid became paranoid, prone to explosive rage that seemed to come from nowhere. Against all medical advice, Edwin entered the professional ranks 18 months later. His southpaw left hand became a weapon of destruction. Edwin's professional debut lasted 90 seconds. What followed was unprecedented in boxing history. 18 consecutive first-round knockouts. The boxing world had never seen anything like El Inca Dinamita. By 2003, word reached the United States. Edwin traveled to American gyms, dismantling world champions in sparring sessions. There's still footage of Edwin destroying WBC champion Eric Morales. He made WBO titleist Mike Anchondo look amateur. But the most famous story involves Oscar de la Hoya himself, who invited Edwin for light sparring. Edwin beat up the Golden Boy so badly that De La Hoya refused to ever spar with him again. HBO wanted him. Golden Boy Promotions wanted to sign him. Edwin was on the verge of superstardom with a perfect record of 15 knockouts in 15 fights. Then came the routine medical exam. The metal plate in Edwin's skull was discovered, and the New York Athletic Commission delivered a crushing verdict. Edwin Valero was permanently banned from fighting in the United States. Edwin fell into depression, spending a year on his couch, medicating his disappointment with alcohol and drugs. Then he met Jennifer Vieira. They fell in love, had children, and suddenly, Edwin had a reason to chase his dreams again. Just not in America. Edwin's first fight in Japan lasted 15 seconds. Fight after fight, Edwin continued his reign of terror across international venues. But his 2006 challenge for the WBA super featherweight title against Vicente Mosquera truly announced him to the world. Mosquera was undefeated for 6 years, a slick boxer with machine gun combinations. For the first time, Edwin couldn't end things quickly. Edwin settled into a rhythm, using his jab to set up that devastating left hand, slowly breaking down Mosquera's defense. By the 7th round, Mosquera's corner stopped the fight. At 24, Edwin Valero was world champion. The head injury from years earlier began manifesting in terrifying ways. Edwin's paranoia increased dramatically. The same rage that made him unstoppable in the ring began spilling into his personal life. The first public sign something was wrong came in 2007 when Jennifer attempted suicide. She never spoke about what was happening behind closed doors, but people whispered about disturbing incidents that painted a dark picture of Edwin's home life. In 2009, powerful promoter Bob Arum got Edwin licensed to fight in Texas, finally opening the American door that had been closed for 6 years. Edwin's first American fight was for the vacant WBC lightweight championship against Antonio Pitalua, a Colombian knockout artist with 40 knockouts and 46 wins. The HBO televised bout was Edwin's chance to prove himself to American audiences. When the bell rang, Edwin fought like a man possessed. In the second round, his signature combination, straight left, left hook, sent Pitalua crashing to the canvas. Edwin calmly finished the job with surgical precision. After years of being banned, Edwin was finally American champion. HBO commentators talked super fights. Bob Arum fielded calls worldwide. Most exciting of all, serious discussions began about a showdown with Manny Pacquiao, the pound-for-pound king. But Edwin's American visa was revoked just 5 months later due to weapons charges in Texas. Once again locked out of boxing's biggest market, Edwin spiraled into his darkest period. The drinking increased. Paranoia worsened. Violent outbursts became impossible to hide. Early 2010, against Antonio DeMarco before HBO cameras. For 9 rounds, Edwin put on a boxing clinic that reminded everyone why he'd been considered boxing's most promising talent. His jab was sharp, his left hand devastating, his defense flawless. HBO commentators compared him to young Manny Pacquiao, calling him a future superstar and the most complete fighter at lightweight. When DeMarco's corner stopped the fight after 9 rounds, Edwin had his 27th consecutive knockout. Standing center ring, championship belt raised high, Edwin looked like a man at his peak. At 28, with a perfect record and quality victories across multiple divisions, boxing immortality seemed inevitable. But within 6 weeks, the most promising career in boxing would be over forever. March 25, 2010, Jennifer was hospitalized with injuries consistent with domestic violence. When Edwin arrived at the hospital, his behavior toward medical staff was so erratic and threatening that police arrested him. Initially placed in psychiatric care, Venezuelan authorities planned to send Edwin to Cuba for 6 months of treatment for depression and substance abuse. But Edwin's connections got him released after just 9 days, against medical recommendations. On the day he was supposed to fly to Cuba for treatment, Edwin's mind snapped completely. Convinced he was being monitored, Edwin escaped his police escort and rented a van. With Jennifer beside him, he drove to a neighboring city, checking into a hotel under false names. According to witnesses, they seemed calm in the lobby, talking quietly before going to their room. 6 hours later, Edwin returned to the lobby, barefoot and covered in blood. Moving like someone in a trance, he calmly told reception staff to call police because he had hurt Jennifer. When officers arrived, they found Jennifer's body and arrested Edwin for murder. Initially, Edwin refused responsibility, telling police that people following him were responsible. But as reality broke through his delusions, Edwin's mental state deteriorated. When told he'd never see his children again, Edwin broke down. "Now I've lost everything for sure." Recognizing suicide risk, police removed his shoelaces and belt. Walking to his cell, Edwin told officers he felt completely alone and needed someone to talk to. His final words to another human being were a desperate plea: "Don't leave me alone." Hours later, guards found Edwin hanging in his cell, having used his sweatpants as a makeshift noose. The undefeated knockout artist who conquered every opponent inside the ring was dead at 28, defeated by the only opponent he couldn't beat, himself. Edwin Valero's 27 wins, 27 knockouts, including 18 first-round stoppages, represent power that comes maybe once in a generation. Boxing experts still debate what Edwin might have accomplished. And here's the question that haunts boxing fans to this day. What if Edwin Valero had fought Manny Pacquiao in 2010? Think about it. 2 undefeated southpaws, both knockout artists, both in their absolute prime. Edwin's devastating one-punch power against Pacquiao's lightning-fast combinations and footwork. Edwin had already been compared to a young Pacquiao by HBO commentators. Some experts believe Edwin's raw power could have been the one thing that stopped the Pacman's legendary run. What about Floyd Mayweather? Edwin's aggressive, pressure-fighting style was exactly the kind that gave Floyd problems early in his career. Edwin never backed down, never stopped coming forward, and had the kind of knockout power that could end a fight with one mistake from his opponent. But Edwin's story reminds us that athletic greatness means nothing without personal stability. The head injury doctors warned about in 2000 may have slowly destroyed his impulse control and emotional regulation. The paranoia, violent outbursts, substance abuse, all potentially connected to that motorcycle accident when Edwin was 19. Edwin emerged from homelessness to reach boxing's pinnacle, but the undefeated champion who could conquer anyone inside the ring couldn't overcome the demons inside his own mind. His perfect record will never be broken, but his tragic ending warns us that sometimes the most dangerous opponent a fighter faces is the one in the mirror. The boxing world lost not just tremendous talent, but a human being whose story might have ended differently with proper help. Edwin Valero conquered everyone except himself, and that was the only fight that truly mattered. So here's the question for you. If Edwin Valero had gotten the help he needed and faced Manny Pacquiao in their primes, who do you think would have won? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to see more untold stories from boxing's most fascinating careers, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell.